Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll start in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. And we're just having people join. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aiko. I'm part of the team here at Roadmap Consulting. Thank you for joining us for today's GSA 360 Proposal Support webinar. Throughout the session, we encourage you to drop your questions in the Q&A chat. We'll do our best to address thoroughly during the Q&A portion, okay? So today's webinar will be recorded and made available on our YouTube channel and social media platforms. And as always, after the webinar, you're welcome to schedule a free consultation with our speaker. Speaking of, I'd like to briefly introduce today's presenter. Since 2009, our managing director, Michael Perch, has helped over 300 firms secure GSA MES and other government-wide acquisition contracts through our signature GSA 360 service. His efforts have contributed to over $1 billion in task order awards for our clients. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome our speaker today, Michael Perch. Mike?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Aiko. Welcome to our GSA 360 presentation on how to um, walk through the process of developing and submitting and negotiating your GSA multiple award schedule contract. This presentation, the actual length of it will be around 25 minutes. As Aiko mentioned during the presentation, we'll be accomplishing a couple of things. First of all, we'll have a poll, just kind of get an idea as to who we have listening in and what your situation is, whether you have your schedule and you're trying to figure out how to more effectively use it, or whether you're in the process of acquiring it or whatever. So we're going to ask some poll questions. In addition to that, you guys can ask questions of us by posting them in the chat feature, and we will address those questions throughout. We'll try to make effective use of your time. Won't keep you too long. The real purpose of this presentation is to give you enough information that you will have an idea as to how we can help your organization, and then acting on that, schedule a 15-minute consultation with us where we can discuss your specific situation and we can address a solution that would be beneficial to you. So this is just to whet your appetite, give you some good information, and then let's talk more extensively during our one-on-one chat afterwards. Okay. All right, so what we're going to cover today is 7 points. We're going to talk a little bit about our background and experience, give you an idea as to our run with the federal government, spanning about 16 years now, how we've helped other companies and that sort of thing, what our business model is. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the business case for getting the multiple award contract. What I'm really outlining there is what is the compelling reason why you as a small business or medium-sized business or large business should acquire your GSA mass contract. We're going to talk in number 3 about our blog that we just put out based upon executive order number 14420, where there's a lot of change happening right now within GSA. Consolidation change, the government-wide acquisition contracts that are all proliferated all throughout the federal government are looking. There's a move afoot by the executive order to consolidate all those GWACs under the GSA heading. What that means to you, what are some of the things that you should be aware of, and that sort of thing. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then we'll get right into the nitty-gritty of what I like to call engineering your GSA schedule. Right. So it's not just a matter, I always tell clients, it's not just a matter of getting on schedule. That doesn't get you anything. Right. But you want to design and engineer your contract in such a way that over the course of your 20-year run with GSA, you can use that contract vehicle effectively to feed orders to your firm. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we design and engineer your contract for you. And part and parcel of that is the competitive analysis of the GSA mass special item numbers, and how all that feeds into selecting the special item numbers that you should pursue with your contract. We'll give you some examples. Then we're going to talk about our proposal process, which we have perfected over the last 16 years. I think you'll find that interesting. Number six, we're going to have investment summary, a discussion about our investment summary. What would it take to hire us? We are offering a special through the end of this month, designed specifically to help companies that are trying to participate in the buying season the government buying season that'll take place from July 1st of this year through September 30th. The idea is that if you hire us between now and the end of the month, we can probably get you on schedule by July 1st, and you can very soon start receiving contract awards through the GSA e-buy process because of all the activity happening between July 1st and September 30th. So we'll talk more about that. And then the last point will just be to kind of give you an idea, a summary of all that I've discussed, and next steps if you want to team with us to help us work with you to create some value for your firm, which is the whole reason of actually wanting to get on schedules, create value, contract awards, build your company, go to the next level kind of thing. Okay. So first, a little bit about us. We are a federal procurement management consulting firm. We've been in business since 2009. We've grown to over 300 clients nationwide. Okay, it looks like our first poll question is up there. I'll let you guys respond to that, and we'll get the answers to or the responses to those questions noted by ICO at some point. So 300 clients over the last year. We have 5 contract managers that be working with me in terms of helping you with your GSA schedule submission and your contract administration and compliance once you're on schedule. We are an ISO certified organization, meaning that we sweat the details, so you don't have to read that 250-page solicitation put out by GSA in order to submit your proposal. We do that for you, and we present it to you in bite-sized chunks, and we walk you through the whole process. You give us the information. We synthesize that information into proposal submission documents that we submit to GSA on your behalf and get you on contract. In addition to our GSA 360 service, we also have a couple of other service solutions that you see there, helping you to acquire SBA certifications and also helping you to market your GSA schedule or just market your company through our MCM 360 service. We are ourselves a contract vehicle holder since 2016, so we have worked with many of our clients and teaming with them on some opportunities that the two companies fit well together and going after a particular piece of work on the part of the government. And for those Michigan-based companies who are listening in, we do have a grant program that the state of Michigan offers where you can participate in the grant program and subsidize the cost of hiring us to get you on schedule. So we can talk more about that if you want to pursue that. As our name implies, we do provide a strategic roadmap for federal government contracting and successful business practices being implemented. In that vein, we try to be a one-stop solution for you. So not only do we do GSA schedules, but as I mentioned, we have the SBA and MCM 360 services that we offer. We also offer just general management consulting with whatever requirements you might have. We can talk to you about it. We are subject matter experts when it comes to federal government contracting. So whatever issue you may have, we can assist you with that. We also provide through strategic partners certifications such as ISO certification, which helps to make you more competitive, and of course CMMC level 2 compliance, which is a big deal for those of you who know about that. That's a requirement that all government contractors will have to have in the next couple of years. So definitely getting through that is something we can help with, as well as referring you to our legal strategic partners, CPA firms we work with as well. So we try to make it such that we grow with you as you go from one level to another, and we could partner with you, as I said earlier, to create value for your firm. All right, so now let's talk about the GSA multiple award schedule contract. That contract. Oh, and by the way, Aiko, you can stop me at any time in terms of some of these poll questions. If you want to talk about the results we're getting in, just let me know. Okay.
Sure, Mike.
Okay. So the GSA multiple award schedule contract is the oldest and most familiar contract vehicle that the federal government offers. It is an IDIQ contract that GSA uses. In 2024, the most recent fiscal year, it generated about $51 billion in contract awards equaling about 8 or 9% of the total amount being generated by the government, which is a sizable percentage in terms of that vehicle being utilized. We call it a gateway contract for those companies out there, those of you who are fairly new in terms of how long you've been in business or new to the federal government. It's one of the easiest contract vehicles to submit a proposal for and get on. And it leads way to other contract vehicles beyond that, either IDIQs, BPAs, BOAs from the agencies that you develop relationships with, that now you have additional contract vehicles that you can utilize based upon your GSA schedule award. In terms of a business case argument, it is a very strong value proposition for your firm. It does help to create significant value for your firm should you decide to go in that direction. Okay. Other features of the GSA mass contract: the initial award period is 5 years. In addition to the base period of 5 years, you have the opportunity to bid or to have 3 option years added to your contract. Of course, based upon your performance during the base period year and each successive 5-year period, you can get the award of the option as well. The number of firms on GSA schedule, about 14,000. About more than half of that is small businesses, and that represents less than 10% of the small businesses that do business with the federal government. So as a small business, you would be looked at favorably because you're, you're the cream of the crop in terms of all the small businesses out there, and it would be a favorable thing for your company to have. The approval process is usually about 3 to 6 months. As I said earlier, we put together the technical, administrative, and cost proposal to respond to the most recent solicitation. I believe it's 25 or 26, Pam. I think it's 26 just came out. The solicitations do get updated at various times during the year. The solicitation, by the way, is always available, so you can always submit a proposal. But the updates to the solicitation does change from time to time. Everyone wants to know how long does it take. 3 to 6 months is our average. Our world record is 43 days. That was a very motivated company that got us the information we needed. We put it together, sent it to GSA. It just happened to fall on the desk of a very motivated contracting specialist. She got it done within 43 days. So it can happen very quickly. On the other hand, sometimes either based upon the amount of time it takes for you to get us the information we need, or the other bottleneck is the backlog of the contract specialist who is working on it. Sometimes they have a pretty extensive backlog, and so it may take a little bit longer for them to get you properly evaluated, negotiated, and then the contract award made. Other items that should be of note to you in trying to make a decision to get on GSA schedule. It is the fastest and easiest way for a commercial company brand new to the federal government to introduce their products and services into the federal market. That is very true. We've done that with a number of firms over the last 16 years. No federal government contract experience. We get them on schedule, and then that acts as a machine to generate interest on the part of the federal government and a vehicle that the federal government can use to do business with that company. So it is a very, very good vehicle to use for that purpose if you're brand new to the government. The contract does allow you to sell to any government agencies at pre-negotiated discounts and pricing, delivery times and warranties. All these things are part of the GSA negotiations that we help you with. In fact, we put a lot of effort into negotiating with GSA on your behalf to make sure that not only do you get on schedule, but you get on schedule very competitively without sacrificing your margins. And again, we engineer your schedule in such a way that you have the proper special item numbers and the proper services, solutions, and products that will help you to win bid opportunities that come out under the GSA e-buy system. The buying process is significantly streamlined because of the familiarity on the part of the ordering agency contracting officers. Again, it's the vehicle's been around for a long time, so part of the training in becoming a contract specialist or a contracting officer is becoming familiar with the GSA multiple award schedule process. So it does streamline the process. And that's especially important as we get into the buying season and you have contracting specialists and contracting officers looking to make awards before September 30th when their budget does expire. So again, good business case for getting onto schedule. I won't go extensively into a blog that we just did. We're going to follow up with an email to each of you who are sitting in on this presentation. But suffice it to say that there's a lot of change happening within GSA as a part of the new Donald Trump presidential administration. He did issue back on on March 27th, I think it was, an executive order number 14240, which, if carried through, is going to consolidate a lot of the government-wide acquisition contracts under the GSA heading. Suffice it to say, a big deal in terms of all the vehicles that are out there, all now coming under the GSA heading. As a part of the blog, just specifically what that means to you as a small business is that, and let me also add too, that this is happening during the busiest buying season of the year, right? It's going to happen within the next 90 days, which goes right into the July 1st through September 30th buying season. It's going to create some confusion, some panic within the marketplace. Good time to be on schedule is the message that we'd like to convey. Not only on schedule, but also if you have existing relationships with your clients within the federal government to be able to establish, and we can assist you with this, establishing BPAs, BOAs, and IDIQs with those agencies, because again, it becomes a safe haven for you as a company and also for the federal government to make awards very quickly and streamlined in terms of the process. It's also a good time to partner with primes. We do see a lot of, if the consolidation does happen, we see a lot of business that was otherwise done by small companies now being moved to some of the larger primes. So you as a small business could build a relationship with some of the larger primes at the targeted agencies that we would help you identify with to receive some subcontract awards, which of course the large firms are required to do in terms of subbing to small businesses. We can talk a lot more about this afterwards when we have our 15-minute or however long one-on-one, but suffice it to say, good time to be on schedule as a small business, considering all the change that's happening with the consolidation effort underway. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit now about our process, and part of that process is describing our solution. How do we help you? How do we come collaborate with you to essentially design and engineer your GSA schedule in such a way that it's going to be effective for you? Well, the way that we do that is we've developed over the years as a ISO certified organization, policies, procedures, project management tools, collaborative platform, our collaborative platform, which is called OneHub, that makes it easy for you to understand exactly what we need to get from you in order to assist you in submitting your proposal, right? Our service is a turnkey solution. We stay with you from the beginning all the way until contract award, registration on GSA vendor support, registration on GSA eBuy, submission of your price list to your contracting officer to have you listed on GSA eLibrary and GSA Advantage. So you get a turnkey solution with us, and we have tons and tons of references for clients that have gone through the process with us that would be more than happy to tell you how effective that process is. So just to go back, one of the big things that we like to try to do is to not only describe the process to you, take you through the actual project kickoff at the very beginning, but then we keep you updated week after week in terms of how far you're getting along in the process. And that's something that our clients have commented to us that they really love, is that they're never in the dark as far as where they are in the process, because it is a pretty extensive amount of work, right? So having a project management tool that allows you to know exactly where you are, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the process, is one of the things that kind of stands out among some of the unique things that we do. We also help you with cost and pricing. As I mentioned, we pay particular attention to negotiation with GSA, make sure you're getting the best deal. We know all the negotiating secrets and how to get how to protect your margins on the products and services and solutions that you provide or you propose to GSA. So we share that information with you in our process.
Hi,
All right, so
Mike.
now, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aiko.
Yes, just a pause. I'm sharing the results from the poll. So we have 87% who voted no. They don't have a GSA MAS contract vehicle right now, and
Okay.
two has, or 13% of those has GSA. And number two poll, did they submit previously a GSA MAS proposal but did not receive an award? 94%, Mike, have answered no, and only 6% have answered yes. So they did not receive an award, and that's a huge number. So are you in the midst of submitting your GSA MAS proposal? 86% have answered no, and only 2 or 14% have answered yes. All right, back to you, Mike.
Got it. Well, I think the way we can kind of summarize the data from the polls is that most people are still trying to decide whether or not to submit a GSA multiple award schedule proposal. Hopefully,
Mhm.
this is good information for you. And again, we welcome you to after the presentation is over, contact ICO and schedule some time where we can talk one-on-one. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about the engineering of your schedule, right? So part of the decision-making process that you'll go through in terms of putting together your schedule is what special item numbers that we have on our schedule, what products, solutions, and services do we have on our schedule. Okay. Here we're going to talk a little bit about the special item numbers, otherwise known as SINs, that would go onto your schedule. The SINs are important in the sense that they are the categorization of services, products, or solutions that you provide, which correspond with your SAM.gov profile under the NICS codes that you have. Okay. And so the equivalent on the GSA under GSA mass is SINs, under your SAM profile is your NICS codes. So they kind of correspond. Why is it important to select the right SINs? Well, the way the GSA eBuy system works is that you only see the opportunities that come out under the SINs that you've been awarded by GSA. So let's say you're an IT company and you don't have SIN 54151S, which is Information Technology Professional Services. If you don't have that SIN and a perfect, project comes out that you would love to bid on under the GSA eBuy system from one of your targeted customers, no less, right? Well, if you don't have that SIN, you won't even see it, much less be able to bid on it. So we try to do a very good job on the front end of making sure that there's proper coverage of all the SINs that your company could qualify for. And of course, there is a process you go to qualify for the SINs, is basically submitting your relevant project experience that shows you have expertise in that area. We help you with that. But we want to make sure that when your contract is awarded, that you don't miss any opportunities under the GSA eBuy system. So we go through this process of looking at your company, looking at your NICS codes under your SAM.gov profile, and then determining which SINs that we think you ought to go after, and based upon your prior experience. What we also do, that's covered in this slide, is we'll give you an idea of what you can expect when you get onto the schedule under the SIN that you qualified for, right? Because again, part of the business process, part of the business decision process that you all are going through, which again, based upon the poll questions, the majority of you are trying to decide, yes, no, do I do it? Well, this information is valuable in the sense that if you're talking about future opportunities that you would like to avail your company to, this gives you an idea, right? We call it the quick facts slide. And we do this for every new client that we bring on. We do an extensive amount of research to let them know exactly under which SINs their company can expect to have the majority of the opportunities to bid on projects. So
Hi,
under
Mike.
SIN 5, I'm sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Yes, sorry, to cut you off, we do have a sin question. So what's the difference between the two different sin categories? For 541611, there is no staffing. So it's management consultancy provided. So how do they go ahead and process this?
I'm a little confused by the question. So the difference between 541, 611, and is it 54151S or well, let me just answer the question I think that's being asked. So
Yes.
each one of the special item numbers has what's called a SIN description, which is kind of like the statement of work for that particular SIN. Okay. And of course, we go through all this with you in the process of putting it all together for you. But the SIN description will give you an idea of what exactly falls under that category of work. And in order to have GSA approve your SIN, you have to show past performance under that specified scope of work associated with that SIN. And that's what separates one SIN from another SIN and another SIN and so forth. I think that's the essence of the question, Aiko. Am I on target there?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
She's comparing
Yeah.
the difference between the sins and what happens if there's no staffing. So, yeah. But if
Yeah.
the question was not fully answered, feel free to put in your follow-up
Yeah.
question and
Yeah.
we can send you an email or a consultation invite.
Yeah, there's
Thank
there's a
you.
list of there's a Excel spreadsheet of all the different sins that are available, which by the way
Mhm.
correspond with the NICS codes, right? It's all covered, one to one. Sometimes the NICS codes are different than the sin description as you see there. That first one, 541.511, is the sin is 541.51S. But as you see on the last two these are examples, by the way. These are just examples that we just chose. But as you see there in the last two, the NICS code is the same as the sin. But again, the SIN description is what really kind of gives you an idea as to what's covered under that particular category of work. All right, so going back to our example of activity under this particular SIN last year, ended September 30th, 2024, there were a total of 6,435 awards made to 1,343 companies, totaling about $3.1 billion. Well, if you're trying to make a business decision on whether or not you're going to go after some of the work using your GSA schedule, this is a good tool, or I should say, a bit of information to consider. There's a lot of activity, a lot of companies. It's the professional IT services SIN, so you can expect that would be a lot of activity. But in that case, $3.1 billion of the $51 billion that we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation was awarded under this one SIN. So quite a bit of activity. Okay. So by the way, we can go deeper in terms of having an analysis of the awards that were made, who the contract awards were made to in terms of the number of firms. We can provide all that information to you on the front end. So again, we'd like to try to, not only prepare you to get on schedule, but to also prepare to win bids after you're on schedule. So we give you a lot of good marketing support, or I should say contract intelligence data support as we go through the process. Okay. One of the other things is important information to know. Hopefully you guys are in the habit of targeting agencies. What I mean by that is finding out the agencies among all the thousands of agencies. You want to find out the ones that buy what you sell. That's half the battle in terms of being able to market to the government. You can't market. It's not a shotgun approach, it's a rifle approach, right? So this slide here kind of gives you an idea of the federal agencies. I'm sorry, these are the GSA contract holders. So the big primes, in other words, that are doing work under 54151S. Why is that important? Well, you can, as a small business, team with these guys, or at the very least, you can be able to look at some of the work that they're doing at the agencies that we can provide you the intel on, and be able to know going in to make a presentation to them where they're doing work, the type of work they're doing based upon the information we provide to you. And that helps you to position yourself, hopefully, to do some sub work with them through what's called a contracting teaming arrangement, which is facilitated under your GSA schedule and their GSA schedule, right? So this is good information to have. Again, we can go deeper in terms of that. But then the thing I started originally talking about is, where's that work happening? This slide tells you where it's happening. No surprise there. Almost $800 million of the work is happening under DoD. These are the top 10 agencies that 54151S is awarding work to. We just gave 10 agencies. We can do as many agencies as you like. And again, we can go into the detail of what comprises each one of those dollar amounts and tell you exactly who's winning that business. Either, large prime, small businesses that may be competing with your company that's on schedule. And as we like to say, if you're not on schedule, you're on the outside looking in, and they're already on the inside using their GSA schedule to facilitate some of those contract awards. All right, so that kind of covers the engineering or the strategic part of what we help you with. Now we're going to talk about our process. This will be quick, but just to give you an idea as to how we do things. First of all, we break out the entire GSA multiple award proposal process into 5 phases, and you see it there. So we start off with the agreement for services, which is under our sales process and proposal kickoff. And then we go into phases 2 and 3, where we're basically collecting information from you and synthesizing that information into proposal documents that is submitted to GSA, as you see under phase 3, number 8. At the end of that process, we submit the offer through the GSA e-offer platform. Phase 4 is where we go through contract clarifications, or you might even get a rejection letter, which is not as bad as it sounds, from GSA, listing all the things that they want to see, or modifications or corrections they'd like to see to your proposal. We go through that process with you. We go through negotiations, number 4, under phase 4. We prepare you for that. It's a 4-page document we give you on strategic ways in which we're going to help you negotiate your contract, because it's a 20-year commitment you're making to GSA. So you don't want to take that commitment lightly. We go through a very, very, usually about a 2-hour process of helping you to understand how that negotiation with GSA will take place. After that negotiation takes place and you receive the go-ahead with your contract award, you'll get what's called a final proposal revision letter. And then you get, at the end of phase 4, you get your contract award. We then go about the process of getting you actually comprising your GSA price list to go onto GSA eLibrary and GSA Advantage. We also register your contract on the Vendor Support Center site, and we also get you registered under GSA eBuy, number 6, under phase 5, which helps you to then start to receive GSA eBuy requests into your company's mailbox on a daily basis. And so the opportunities that are coming out from the agencies using the GSA system, and you're able to bid on those very effectively. So our process starts with our One Hub platform, which is where we collaborate with you. So suffice it to say, we have a very organized approach to collecting information from you, giving you examples, proposal examples, successful proposal examples that we've done in the past. Of course, it's all redacted information, so we keep our confidentiality with our clients. We take that very seriously. But we give you a lot of good information, and it all starts with the kickoff meeting that we have, where we organize all the information that we need to get from you. But it all goes onto the One Hub platform, which is a cloud-based platform that you and your team will have access to. We'll organize the folders into, basically, each folder will have the client input folder, which is where you'll download the information, the example, where you can go and look at prior examples, and then templates sometimes we'll use to collect all the information we need to get from you. We have an internal checklist that we go through once you give us the information, to make sure, as our ISO certification requires, that we are doing an extensive job of detail analysis of everything you give to us, comparing that to the most recent solicitation put out by GSA, to ensure that our submission of your proposal will be both competitive and compliant to the requirements of the most recent solicitation. We won't give you this information here. This is all internal to us, but what we will give you is, on a weekly basis, what we like to call our progress report, which highlights, it's all color coordinated, highlights where you are in the process. Green indicating that we have the information from you. There's no further action on your part. Yellow indicating that we got the information, we reviewed it, but there's some questions we have and clarifications that we need. And then orange means you haven't gotten us anything yet. So you can very quickly look at this report on a weekly basis and see how far you are in the process by looking to see how much green you have versus how much orange you have. The blue portion is the proposal documents that we'll prepare on your behalf. So that's what we do at the bottom. But this is, again, as I mentioned earlier, a very effective tool that we use for our clients. We get a lot of good feedback from our clients because they know exactly where they are in the process. and they know exactly how much further they have to go in order to get their proposal submitted.
Yes,
All right.
exactly, Mike. Just to add, that's exactly what our clients needs as well as their issue with the proposal process is meeting the RFP requirements and being compliant and the risk involved. So that's exactly our process that would help them, achieve this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Aiko, why don't you talk about the great offer we're giving to clients? I'll let you kind of take over on this slide here.
Yes, everyone. So it's an exclusive offer for the month of April. We have for our webinar attendees today, such as you, instead of our normal old rate, which is 14,995, you'll get the whole GSA proposal process from phase 1 to 5 and more than that. At $9,995. So that's a discounted rate only valid up until April 30th. And you don't need to pay it all at once. Again, you just need to pay half upon agreement execution, the next 25% after 30 days, and 25% after 60 days. So, but we will handhold and guide you through the process from step 1 to step 3, like what Mike is saying. It's going to be easy with us. Thank you, Mike. Back to you.
Yep. And the big thing about this, the reason why we're making this offer, in addition to wanting to extend ourselves to our clients, people who attend this webinar, is that it will position you to have your schedule just in the nick of time to participate in the buying season that takes place from July 1 through September 30th. And we will work with all diligence to make sure that you get the award by then, so that in a very short span of time, you can have that GSA schedule facilitate contract awards from you. We're very much aware of the fact that every small business is always looking for that return on investment, right? So we lowered the price. We're going to speed up the process. Only good through April 30th, because beyond that, you're probably not going to get a contract award beyond April 30th. If we get started in the month of May, we can get it submitted by the end of May, hopefully, and have your contract awarded again in time for the buying season. So great offer to take advantage of. If you're thinking about it, again, get in contact with us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Our hope is that we can get you guys on schedule, get you winning business as quickly as possible, and we make it very convenient for you to say yes to that offer that we're giving. It will not extend beyond this. It will stop as of the 30th. So yeah. Okay, well, hopefully we'll get some calls on that. In addition to that, it gets better, Aiko. So for the first 30 days, we're also offering our marketing and capture management support. So in concert with us putting together your GSA schedule, we will get you some very, very good marketing information that can be useful once you're on schedule. What does that marketing information consist of? You see it there on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll get you a 5-year history of all the GSA eBuy awards that have been made under your 3 SINs. We're using the number 3 as an example that you identify and that we're proposing. You'll see all the activity going back 5 years to be able to develop your sales pipeline, right? Because you know that if you saw a contract award that was made 3 years ago, most contract awards are now somewhere in that 3-year range. You know it's coming back around for recompete, and you can start your capture process. We can help you to start that process. So getting that 5-year history is a good thing. It also helps you to identify the targeted agencies that you want to market to, because you can see where those awards are being made. It also identifies the primes that may have gotten those contract awards that you can possibly either team with, or maybe design a process of unseating them as the incumbent, right? But good information to have. We can also help you to draft intro letters to the primes and to the COs at those targeted agencies. That helps to get your company, as we like to say, in the room with the right people that can make awards to your firm. So we're going to offer MCM during that initial 30-day period that you contract with us. That'll get you moving as far as, again, helping you to obtain that return on investment that's so important to small businesses that are dishing out cash to get on schedule. All right. So just in summary, and then we'll take questions. Again, we've assisted over 300 firms in the last few years in getting onto schedule. We have a very, very, very well spelled out um, uh, thought out process of helping you. We're very responsive. We communicate very effectively to our clients. Again, we can provide you with references that will speak to that. We have a 100% success rate. So once we identify your firm and pre-qualify you, we will guarantee that you'll get on schedule. And obviously that's something that would be comforting if I were in your shoes. We're not going to quit until we get you on schedule. We have the capabilities, experience, and all that to do it. And we can also help you with other services that may be of interest to you as we go along. We've grown with a lot of our clients over the years, so we can assist you there. If you're interested, the next step would be to set up a consultation where we can discuss your specific requirements. If everything is a go at that point, we get you an agreement for services that you can execute on DocuSign. We then schedule a project kickoff meeting to establish objectives, deliverables, timelines. Again, we're going to move very quickly. If you guys are interested in trying to participate in the buying season for this year, we're going to get started and get moving on your proposal effort. And then we'll conduct periodic meetings and updates to give you an idea as to how far along you are in the process. So we'll keep you informed. Other webinars that are coming up, if you're interested in marketing and capture management alone as a standalone service, May 8th, we have a webinar on that. Contract administration and compliance has more to do with already existing GSA schedule holders, and small business development support is just for we are a contractor to the Small Business Development Center here in Washington, D.C., and for any other SBDCs around the country, we're going to have a webinar for them as well. So you can sit on that if you choose to, but it probably won't apply to what your firm needs. And that's it. I'll turn it back over to you, Aiko, for any questions.
Thank you so much, Mike. Everyone feel free to put your questions in the chat. We're keeping an eye on them as we come in. Most of them are already answered by our contract manager, Alex. Also, Julie has reposted the free consultation with Mike in the chat, so feel free to click and reserve your spot. In addition to that, we've also shared our website and other social media platforms. Check and follow us there to stay in the loop for upcoming events, webinars, and of course, helpful updates as well. So do you have any last questions? I know we're over the time. If you want a deeper insight, that's the best time to get a consultation call with Mike and get personalized support. Any last questions in our Q&A chat? Okay, I guess there's none. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, definitely, and also stayed over time. We truly appreciate your engagement as well. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next webinar in our GSA 360 series. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.